But they're just working and still not making money. So, इस पे what is your thought?
Which is contextual to where they're building and who they're building for. तो बहुत चीज़ें हैं जो आप दिखाने के लिए बना रहे हो, बहुत चीज़ें हैं जो आप अपने लिए बना रहे हो. If you're playing for the audience, then you're doing showmanship by the end of it. That 90% of people are doing. So अब उसमें feature का क्या मतलब है यार?
So do you think an architect has a role to play in it to support the local artisans?
It's very wrong to blame architects for everything.
Unfiltered dialogue. And we have Aman Issar from Unbox with us today. Hi Aman, how are you?
Hey man, thank you for having me.
We were just speaking of Jhola Chhap architects and the architects who actually have,
That was
flashy
off
lights.
the camera, guys. That was off the camera
which,
completely.
People have flashy lights. But with this, I would like to add that there are certain cities which are growing. आप देखेंगे Tier 2 में आज शायद ज़्यादा स्कोप होगा comparatively to Delhi NCR.
Surely.
Because space है वहाँ पे build करने के लिए. But these people have less exposure. They're not in publications. Nobody is wanting to feature them. They are not wanting to document their work. But they're just working and still not making money. So, इस पे what is your thought?
See. So I'll probably differ. I think there are a lot of good firms who are regularly featured, who are doing distinct and good work, which is contextual to where they're building and who they're building for. There are multiple firms like that. But at the same point of time, they are too far too few. There'll probably be another 90% of other design firms who are just catering to the audience, who are just, playing for the audience, which is more aspirational कि हाँ हमें ये मैगजीन वाला घर चाहिए या हमें ये महंगे पत्थर वाला घर चाहिए या पूरा कांच का घर चाहिए, which is aspirational, right? Which is more of मैगजीन में देखा है तो ऐसा ही चाहिए.
But practical नहीं है.
अब वो उन्हें थोड़ी पता है. Which is again playing to the audience, which is the designer's job. कि this is not something which is suited to your personality. कि मैं आपको कांच का घर दे दूं पर उसमें प्राइवेसी तो है नहीं, तो आप उस पर पर्दे लगाओ बेसिकली. तो भाई दीवारी लगा लेते यार, इतना खर्चा क्यों किया बिना बात के. अब उसमें हर किसी का इंसेंटिव हो सकता है बट ज़रूरत नहीं है ना यार उसकी. तो बहुत चीज़ें हैं जो आप दिखाने के लिए बना रहे हो, बहुत चीज़ें हैं जो आप अपने लिए बना रहे हो. So I think eventually it's the purpose you're building for and designing for which will matter, which is what recognition you'll get, right? If you're playing for the audience, then you're doing showmanship by the end of it. That 90% of people are doing. So अब उसमें feature का क्या मतलब है यार? कोई ऐसी sense नहीं बनती उसकी ज़्यादा.
You've been practicing for more than a decade now.
Yes, more than a decade.
You're still young.
Thank you.
You're still young. You have been doing a lot of residential projects, residential farmhouses, say commercial office spaces. Do you think luxury is a space or luxury is a client's mindset and the material he wants to use or the economical viability included in a project?
I think for Tier 1 cities, luxury is a space because you don't have luxury of space at all. But for us designers, I think space is not a constraint. You can design luxurious spaces even in a 500 square feet apartment, or even you cannot design luxurious spaces in like a 1 acre farmhouse also. So for us designers, luxury is now these days finding a client who's well aware of what they want, why they want it. Awesome. Because, I think the idea of fancy materials, fancy forms, fancy design, Instagrammable corners, Pinteresty ideas is fading very fast now. It's not there anymore. At least with the well-educated, well-traveled, matured clientele, it's not something they want. It's not something they want at all. What they want really is something which is personalized to them, something which speaks to them, something which is catered to their lifestyle for the next 50 years. Because you don't build a building for only 5 years. You build it for the next generation, and it needs to adapt to the growing needs of a family. So I think for us designers, luxury is finding that client. And for clients, the idea of luxury is also constantly evolving now. So tier 2, tier 3 cities are also catching up, because you have a lot of young clients who are settling down in these cities, taking over their family businesses, who are well traveled, who have been educated
And people
abroad.
are willing to spend money in smaller cities now.
Surely. I think, as I say, the importance of an architect is being recognized now, because पहले तो ये होता ना कि ठेकेदार से बनवा लेंगे या किसी tier 1 वाले को ले लेंगे और उससे concept ले लेंगे, बाकी बना हम खुद लेंगे basically. But now people have started recognizing the importance of an architect from start till the end.
Absolutely.
From start till the end, because you can have a very nice design on paper or on renders, but how it materializes and the construction process is actually the main part, right? So yes, a lot of, I would say, the next generation who's now settled in their family businesses in tier 2, tier 3 cities, even in tier 1 cities for that matter, have started realizing the importance of a good architect or a designer who's true to their words and true to the project. So yeah, I think things are evolving with time, which is a good change.
What is the best client specification you have got? I mean, so
Client specification.
कि ये वाली detailings तो मेरे लिए this is very important.
Yeah, you know, I don't think we are. Maybe we're just very fortunate enough to have been working with very open-minded clients who've given us the freedom to design for them, right? Because if you're hiring a designer, then might as well let them design, right? So I think with good, mature clients, if they're hiring a professional, they'll let them do their job. Like if I hire a doctor and tell them you do my surgery like this and you stitch like this, that won't make sense, right? So why tell an architect, oh, you did detail my building like this? You've seen their body of work, you've seen their approach to things. If you like it, get them on board and let them do what they want to do. It's like it's almost like dictating an artist, right? Okay, you make this painting like this and then I like it. No, you like art for what it is, for what the artist thought is, right? It's not something that, oh, I wanted an art piece to be like this, so now if it looks like this only, then I'll buy it. It doesn't work like that. Same for architects, same for any professional for that matter. You never tell your CA कि मेरी return इस तरीके से file करो. Do you ever do that? Or you tell a lawyer कि नहीं मेरा case ऐसे लड़ो. Then why are you hiring a lawyer? The lawyer will instantly walk out, right? So I think good clients will give you that freedom. Again, I say too far, too few to come by, but yes, it's important for clients to give any designer the freedom for what they bring on board as a value addition. Of course, it's a collaborative process. It's not like मैंने जो बना दिया वही बनेगा. Of course, it will be a very collaborative thing of, okay, we've designed this, what are your inputs? We'll take your inputs in, we'll maybe draw a revision, we'll maybe draw another revision, and then once we are both happy with it, then we actually go into construction and execution. So there are a lot of factors which are involved than just you design my building like this. I don't think that makes sense anymore. I believe that.
50 projects down the line in the last decade. What do you think? What kind of materials should we actually use? As you said, people are actually, so there are so many people now working on earthy materials. But up north में देखेंगे जब आप अमृतसर जाएंगे तो they want, on the name of luxury, they're just using materials for the sake of using materials. But what kind of materials do you think, as a professional, we should use in a...
जो पसंद है वो लगाओ यार तुम, जो पसंद है वो लगाओ, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. किसी मटेरियल इनहेरेंटली इज नॉट बैड, राइट? मटेरियल की क्या गलती है उसमें? तुम्हें जो पसंद है वो लगाओ, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है उसमें. बट देयर आर सर्टेन क्वेश्चंस दैट यू नीड टू आस्क योरसेल्फ. सी, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल द थिंग इज द process of construction or the process of building inherently is bad for the environment. अब तुम मिट्टी की बिल्डिंग बनाओ, ब्रिक की बनाओ, आरसीसी की बनाओ, मेटल की बनाओ, पत्थर की बनाओ, जिस भी चीज़ की बनाओ, तुम नेचर खराब कर रहे हो, ठीक है. सो फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज, कैन आई बी कॉन्शियस? डू आई रियली नीड दिस? हु एम आई बिल्डिंग फॉर? एम आई बिल्डिंग इट फॉर माई सेल्फ, or am I building it to show to other people? Right? Once you ask these very simple questions to yourself, or your designer puts it in front of you, if you are fortunate enough to find a good designer who will question you, first of all. Problem is, most of the designers won't question their clients. They'll just go by yes sir attitude के हाँ जो कह रहे हो वो कर देते हैं और काम खत्म करते हैं. No, yeah, you have to question your client. No, what is the problem? So I think once you ask yourself those questions, you'll find those answers. Yeah, who am I building it for? Am I building it for myself? Yes. Do I want to show it to other people? Maybe, maybe not. If I really don't want to show to other people, do I really want to import some marble from some other country and put it when I have so many good natural stones available in my 100-kilometer radius?
Absolutely.
Right? If I'm importing a marble from some country, it's got a huge embodied carbon footprint. मैं ये नहीं कह रहा यार आपके 100 किलोमीटर वाले का फुटप्रिंट नहीं है, पर कम है, वो यूज कर लो ना. उससे आपकी लोकल इकोनॉमी भी तो सपोर्ट हो रही है.
Absolutely.
आप बाहर से क्यों मंगा रहे हो? ठीक है, आपको दिखाना है, आपको एक ट्रीटमेंट बनानी है, आप एक 5-स्टार होटल बना रहे हो. फॉर दैट मैटर बहुत सारी चेन्स है जो उस लीग में भी इंडियन मटेरियल्स के साथ ही काम करती है. बट फॉर दैट, अगर आपका पर्पस ही वो है तो करो यूज, क्या प्रॉब्लम है? बट अगर आप अपने लिए बना रहे हो, आपको सिंपल सोबर इंडियन मटेरियल्स के साथ काम करना है, तो इंडियन मटेरियल्स करो ना काम. इंडिया से बहुत अच्छा मटेरियल है जो एक्सपोर्ट होता है, जो हमें देखने को भी नहीं मिलता. यू नो दैट देयर आर सो मेनी ग्रेनाइट्स, सो मेनी मार्बल्स which you'll never get to see, which is exported, which is probably being used in Brazil somewhere, and we are importing Brazilian stone. What is the sense? I don't see any sense of it, right? So material inherently is not bad. See what your purpose is. If I like a Brazilian stone also for that matter, and if I say, yeah, this is what fits my design, I cannot find it in India, only then I'll import it. Otherwise, if I can find an alternate in my local context, then why not? What is the problem? So be that tier 1, be that tier 2, be that tier 3, or be that an international project for that matter. If you ask yourself those questions, am I being contextual? Am I building for the site? जो मेरी साइट है, am I being true to the site? क्या ये डिज़ाइन में उठा के आंध्र प्रदेश में रख दूँ या फिर दुबई में रख दूँ? सेम डिज़ाइन अगर चल जाएगा तो फिर मैं इस साइट के लिए क्या बना रहा हूँ?
Absolutely.
अगर अमृतसर में भी यही सेम डिज़ाइन है तो फिर क्या पॉइंट है यार उस चीज़ का? अगर मैं बेवर्ली हिल्स का विला लुधियाना में बना दूँ तो यार मतलब फिर तो मैंने क्राफ्ट किल कर दी ना एक तरीके से पूरे. So once you ask yourself these questions, once you have a initial discussion with your designer, then you're sure why you're building it for, and then use now whatever material. अब तुम्हें बनाना है बेवर्ली हिल का विला लुधियाना में, if you're convinced, then make it. There's no problem. करो, import करो बेवर्ली हिल से सब कुछ, इटली से, स्पेन से, वियतनाम से, चाइना से, जहाँ से import करना है करो यार, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. If that is what makes you happy, do it. It's your house. No problem at all. So that's what I'll say.
As we have just spoken about the Indian handicrafts or Indian materials which we have. Like I was in Bangalore yesterday and we were in a panel and some lady said that Bangalore people have their Bangalorean tiles karke, there's a thing which people use.
Mangalorean tiles.
Yeah. So these are small tiles which people use. But the locals are actually not using it. They are getting it from some XYZ companies. So you've actually lost the touch of, touch and feel of what we can get locally. So do you think an architect has a role to play in it to maybe, enhance and support the local artisans and companies?
यार मैं एक चीज़ बोलूँ वैसे, I think it's very wrong to blame architects for everything.
No, I didn't mean to say that.
Right? We think they are superheroes, but
They're not.
please let's just like be kind to ourselves. We can't change the world also, right? Again, I'll get back to the thing wherein any process of building, whoever is building it, right, there is a very strong aspirational quality attached to it. What you aspire your things to look like, right? And your aspiration can be influenced from a lot of things. It starting from your growing up years to your struggle to your context, your family, to maybe your travels, to maybe your education, or maybe just how you want your next 20 years to be, straight out of a magazine or straight out of an Instagram page for that matter. It's very aspirational. At the same point of time, it's very deeply personal also. So I would say there are a lot of clients who are in touch with what they want and how they want it. But at the same point of time, there can be clients who are driven by the aspirational quality of it, of those glossy magazine pictures, of those glossy Instagram posts, and they just want it exactly like that. So let's not blame the architect, poor guy or poor girl कि यार मतलब अब क्या कर सकते हैं. But at the same point of time, a true designer will have those conversations with their client, because anything modern need not be out of place also. Right?
I agree.
So if you're building in Bangalore and if you're building modern, sure, it can have clean straight lines, it can have those large glass panels, but at the same point of time, it can integrate local craft in a global outlook as well. So that what you're creating on that site is truly global. Right? So it's modern, it's actually using the craft, elevating it to global standards, and that is what truly makes a remarkable project.
That's a wonderful statement, I would say. Moving further, Aman, AI has evolved. I would not say that AI can replace us. When AutoCAD came, everybody thought that now, because earlier we used to, draw the layouts by our own hands. But then AutoCAD came and people thought that now architects, how will they struggle? I mean, how will they survive? But फिर AutoCAD करना सीख गए 3 घंटे लगते थे. I'm sure in the upcoming years, we'll have something which will give us the entire layout in 30 minutes also, the drawing. But you can use that 2.5 hours, which you were actually putting in AutoCAD, to maybe design another project or think of it. What is your take on AI?
You know, my initials will be like AI if you just like spell them differently. AI, Aman, issar. So yeah, I think every tool needs to be looked as a tool, not as a threat. AI, although it's in very nascent stages right now, will become a very helpful tool in the next 5 years. And it's a change which you cannot stop. It's something that you have to embrace. But you have to use it as a tool. Right? If you start saying, oh, AI ही अब replace कर देगा architect को, तो ज़रूर कर देगा, but उन architects को करेगा जो खुद thought process नहीं डाल सकते, जो dependent है. Because see, AI will always need someone who can prompt it properly.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
How will you prompt it? If you know your architectural language, if you know your theory, if you know your design theory, if you know your design thinking, only then you can prompt it. If you know your construction process, if you know your material, only then you can prompt it. If you've just seen glossy pictures all your life, you've never even read the text of a project, you've never even delved into the thought of an architect and how that project has come alive, you don't know anything. You just know how to create pretty pictures, and AI will do that for you. So, it will certainly replace architects who are just replicating, but it cannot ever replace architects or designers who are thinking from scratch and creating those ideas. So it would never replace creators. It would replace all replicators for sure, because you won't need them anymore. We had a client. He's like, can you do a pitch for us? It's like, this is too small a project to do a pitch. Like, do one room. And like, why do you need me to do one room? He's like, oh, I have these 5 reference images. You design something like this and show me renders. Like, you don't need me. You just click pictures of your room, put your pictures of reference images, and AI will give it to you. No, so you get it designed from AI. Then why do you need me? You need me only when you want to have these conversations. I'll ask you, do you really need this? Is it something that you really want? I mean, you're living in a neoclassical house, but you're showing me ultra raw industrial architecture or interior spaces. The inside and outside don't speak to each other. So I'll have these conversations with you. But if you want this only, you get it done from AI itself, nah? And then just show it to your contractor. They'll build it for you. Don't need an architect.
Has this ever happened with you?
This is a real example I'm telling you. Yeah, I let go of a client.
No,
because
that
of
they've
this.
got the design from you and then they've got it done from the contractor.
You know, in initial years, yes, probably. In initial years, yes.
How does
but-
it feel?
Well, as long as it's getting built, you feel good only, to be honest. See, that's what, no, I think what matters is your purpose of why you're starting out. I think I started out because I wanted to see things built the way I designed them or even envisioned them. So in the initial years, yes, even if it's getting built, I'll be okay. Even if I'm not making any money, I'll be okay. But
That's a great thought, you know, because I think now the generation which is there, they want to get the fame in the first 5 years of them practicing. They want to make money in the first 5 years of them practicing. If we see our seniors, if we see the firms who have been in the industry for more than 2 decades or say 15 years and more, they have done exceptionally well at a certain point of time. Instagram was not there then. Google was, internet just came in, but they were actually doing well. There was nobody to document all of these. This just came after 2015. I would say that we started doing it, on probably everyday basis, I would say. But nowadays, what we think is in 5 years, I want to have my Instagram. I want to have good followers. I want to document every project and I want to get the fame. I want to be published on the cover page and I want to make money and I want to have big client portfolio. But does it work, Aman? I mean, you need to tell your younger generation that, listen, dude, that's the reality.
see, listen, it's working for a lot of people, yeah. So I won't say it doesn't work, right? Is it sustainable? Well, who knows? I mean, this is a very short period of time that this has become trending. I would say just post-COVID, this has become trending. So who
Yes.
knows if this is sustainable or not? People have very short attention span these days. They'll probably soon get off these fancy apps also like Instagram. They'll just like move to another app. And what do you do with your 1 lakh followers then? Nothing, right?
Nothing.
So, see, that's what. You are bang on correct by saying there used to be designers or architects, there still are, who are not really driven by fame, who are not really driven by money, who are not really driven by glossy pictures on the cover of a magazine. Their purpose is very different. Their purpose is to actually...
They want to design.
Yes, their purpose is to be meaningful to the entire process of construction. Otherwise, you don't really need an architect, right? If an architect is probably the only person who's the least monetarily invested in a project. Am I right or am I
I
right?
would agree.
Right. Because that person is just getting their fee. Yeah? They have to manage their expense out of it. That's it.
Yes,
A contractor is involved to make profit. A vendor is involved to make profit. A builder is involved to make profit. Right? An architect is probably the only person who just wants the end product to be nice so they can also feel happy. The client can also feel happy. Hopefully the client will give them good references if it has come out nice. That's the only objective, right? So I think a large part of the industry for a lot of years was just run by pure love for doing what they do. Right? Of course, there has been a change in the past 5-10 years. Good change for a lot of people. A lot of people have been unaffected by it also. It's to each their own. It's what you define as your purpose. But the thing is that purpose really sustainable is what we really need to question. Once you get your picture on a cover of a magazine, then what? Yeah, then what? Then what are you really doing? Once you get that much money, then what are you really doing? Then will you just quit this profession? Or when you, I mean, see, right, these are again very tangible outputs that you can get. Sure, but then what is your actual why of doing or being part of this line of work, right? So I think once everyone asks themselves these kind of questions, which are a lot internal, I would say. They don't really require that much external validation.
So,
I think everyone, and nobody's wrong. I'm not saying anybody is wrong in any of this. If you're working for magazines, great, yeah, get featured in like 10, 20 magazines every year. What is the harm in that? I don't see a harm also. As long as that's working for you, good. Is it sustainable? I don't know. Maybe I don't work like that.
what is your
Success
process?
for me can be a byproduct.
Uh-huh.
It's not something which drives you, for sure.
What is your process of designing?
My process of designing is these conversations.
Yes.
I think I've been fortunate enough to have clients who engage in conversations like these also. Otherwise, we probably are not able to work with them also, I think. But I think, yeah, my design process would be a lot more conversational with my clients, with all the stakeholders involved in the project, my team, my contractors, vendors. Okay, what is workable? What do you think is suitable? How can we make it work? I think every project like that is a journey, right? And as long as you're having productive, constructive conversations, you'll create something which will be a collective of all the stakeholders involved. It won't just be driven by one person.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it would, there are these quotes which are like, the journey matters more than the destination, right?
There are.
It's very true.
Right.
If you can't enjoy this slow burn of
Absolutely.
building,
Absolutely.
then how do you survive? And you can only survive once you have those good relationships with your clients, with your contractors, with your team, with your vendors, and then
And
the end
that's
product will speak for
And
itself.
that's
Yeah,
a relationship which is like for life.
yeah,
These relationships, they exist and they last for a longer time.
definitely. So our design will be a lot process oriented. It won't be end product oriented, I would say.
Oh, nice.
So it's not like, oh, this is the render and we need to reach there somehow, so we'll try and reach it. Okay, yeah, this is sort of what we want, and let's see how we can get there, and then improvise, and then improvise. And okay, by the end of it, we are slowly getting to that render, but maybe we've created something which is extraordinary through those multiple conversations we have, which is then never seen or never done before, which elevated all of us. You as a client because you got something unique, me as an architect because I got to try something new, a craftsman because they also got to lay something in a very different manner using their craft, right? So then it elevated everyone. And if you're just stuck to a render or a pretty picture and then just want to build that, then there are straightforward processes of doing that. Yeah, then it's almost like factory making something. Is there joy in that? Maybe, maybe not. So I think for us, design would be the process of conversations, the process of iterations, the process of construction, the process of conversations with everyone involved in the project, and then slowly getting there. I think that would.
Do you think you can experiment with the project through the journey of building the site?
So it's all an experiment only. Yeah? Who knows?
And the client agrees for it easily.
Yeah, see, nobody agrees for it, right? I think your job as a professional is to
Convince.
assure your client that we'll get there and we'll create something which is extraordinary, yet something which is personal to you. So I think it's our job as designers to keep assuring our client that we are getting there. Because see, they can't visualize it, right? As designers and architects, we've visualized it. A lot of times what happens is, okay, client will come on site and only brickwork has happened and they'll be like, ये कमरा तो छोटा लग रहा है, ये दीवार इधर कर दो. So we have to tell them, नहीं, ये ठीक है. Then you'll map furniture. Like, ये furniture भी छोटा लग रहा है. Because see, perspective distortion is a thing, right? Until unless you see it in practicality. We had a client and we showed them a 6 feet by 6 feet bed just marked as a tape on site. You're like, ये 6 फुट का हो ही नहीं सकता, ये तो छोटा है. Like, सर 6 फुट का बेड है. कहना नहीं, मेरा 8 फुट का बेड बनाओ, ये तो बहुत छोटा है. Like, क्या बात कर रहे हो, 8 फुट का बेड का क्या करोगे आप? Eventually, once the space came up, he's like, दीवारें हिला दो, ये सब कुछ. You have those conversations. They also understand why
It's a
they've hired
process.
you.
Gradually they understand.
Yeah, they also understand why they've hired you. Yeah, so then they're like, okay, let's go with it. फिर वो 6 फुट बाय 6 फुट का बेड ही होता है वहाँ पे, और वो बिल्कुल प्रॉपर प्लेस में है, वो कमरा भी प्रॉपर स्केल में है, and then they're happy with it. So you can't blame your clients because obviously they can't visualize it. They're not designers, or they're not trained to be designers or architects. You're trained, so you have to keep everyone on board with that vision and assure that we'll get there. Because it's a long process, it's not a short process. Even interiors, for that matter, these days is a year-long process. Yeah,
Almost.
You almost do design for 3-4 months and execute it for 8-9 months. It's a year-long process, and you cannot afford to change it on site. You cannot afford to change it. It's got multiple repercussions for it. So it's again, I think as designers we are first therapists because then,
You need to consult and you need to
you need to like calm everyone
the
down,
other person down.
because there are a lot of fights between contractors and clients themselves, husband wife, father daughter, everyone's fighting.
I was with this architect just last Sunday, and they mentioned that sometimes what happens, we're in the conference room, they're discussing the materials and the colors. There's husband and wife sitting, and she'll leave. She'll say, तुम ही कर लो यार जो करना है. She'll leave.
See, I tell whenever we get a new lead, no, I tell my clients, see, this is a long process, yeah. So we have to be friends. Like, we have to like each other. If you don't like me, then why hire me? Or if I don't like you, then why will I work with you? So both of us have to like each other. Because, as I said, I'm the only person who's as invested or maybe more as you are in your project.
Absolutely.
Everyone else is there to make profit out of it.
Absolutely.
Right? In this while, there'll be a lot of fights. There'll be a lot of fights between me and you. There'll be a lot of fights between you and the contractor. There'll be a lot of fights between you, husband and wife also, which someone will have to mediate, which will mostly be us. So we have to be on the same page.
Absolutely.
We have to be on the same page if we want to see it through. So, yeah, I think if that's a starting point for any project, we've made lasting relationships through all our projects for that matter.
Wonderful.
Because it's just about being there for each other by the end of the day. So, yeah, I think that's important. That's important.
So AI,
Or
we're right now sitting at one of your projects. I can see local stone, I can see a lot of brick you have used. I can see sandstone which you have used. We've not put the balconies through the, so that a person can sit in the balcony and have chai and see the lawn and enjoy the weather. Why is it so?
okay, so I think I'll first give a background of the project, right? So this is a second home that we did for one of our clients. They actually live probably only 10 kilometers away from here, right? But they wanted a bigger plot of land where they could have a lot more open space, a huge lawn, because they've got young kids, for them to play, for them to host family gatherings, or just like sit in the lawn and bask in the winter sun. I mean, that's a luxury, no, these days. So they wanted that. They wanted a lot more open space. They did not want a lot. As I said, they were building it for themselves. They were not building it for others. They were building it only for them to use. That was a great starting point because, as I said, too far, too few to find these kind of lands. So big shout out to them, I would say, right? They're a joint family. The grandparents, 2 sons who are married, their own kids, so 4 kids. So eventually a joint setup. They also live in a joint setup. So how they envisioned it once we started the conversations was, okay, this is going to be a weekend house or like a vacation home where we'll come and spend time together as a family. And we'd like to do that because as of now, we live on floors in a city house and we go to office together and all of that. But we want to come together as a family. Again, a great starting point because that created the why for us. Why were we building this house? We are not building it to show to other people, and we are building it for ourselves to come together as a family. And we want like the largest open space possible. So how we started off was to create the building footprint in the least invasive manner so that we can create maximum lawn and green area space around it. So the building, as you see, is this long cube, right? Which on the upper floor hosts all the bedrooms, 4 bedrooms. It's divided into 2 wings. One wing is for one brother, one wing is for one brother. In the center is the grand staircase. And this pavilion that you see in front, which is the glass pavilion, it sits in between the lawn, is the formal living and dining.
Okay.
So this plot is abutting the main road over here. And as you can see, I don't know, maybe they'll edit the sound out, but there's a huge traffic noise that keeps coming over here. So, of course, when you're in your bedroom, you want privacy, you don't want noise to come in. A lot of the factor was not to give balconies towards this side because there's a lot of noise coming in from here. But at the same point of time, you go back to the why. You know, okay, this family wants this house for them to come together. So, फिर तुम्हें क्यों चाहिए balcony यार ऊपर? तुम नीचे आओ ना लिविंग रूम में, सबके सब नीचे आके बैठो, लॉन में बैठो, आपके बच्चे बाहर क्रिकेट खेल रहे हैं, आप लॉन में बैठ के देखो, आप बालकनी से क्यों देखोगे ऊपर? ऐसा भी नहीं होना चाहिए ना कि एक भाई ऊपर बैठा है, एक भाई नीचे है, पेरेंट्स नीचे है, वो ऊपर से ही चाय पी के अपना बैठ के देख लिया ऊपर से, नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है, फिर सब नीचे आओ. Then your bedrooms become more of retiring spaces.
Right.
When you've spent your entire day on the ground floor and now you just need to go back and sleep in peace. Then you go to the first floor and sleep in your bedroom. It's not an entertainment space. It's not a living space. If you want to spend time with your family, please come down. And there are 3 levels of living spaces. There's an entertainment space which has got a pool table, TT table, projector, home theater setup. There's a family living space which is attached to the grandparents' room. And there's this formal living and dining space. So even if you're coming down, you have multiple level of spaces.
Absolutely.
Even if families want to spend time by themselves, they still come down and spend those time.
So there's a purpose.
There's a purpose to each and every space.
Wonderful.
So behaviorally, you can influence how any person uses that space. Because now I cannot just sip tea and look at my lawn and bask in its glory. Ke wah kya lawn hai na. I have to come down and sip tea now. And then once I come down, then I see, हाँ घास तो अच्छी लग रही है, फिर मैं घास पे भी बैठूंगा. मैं जरूरी नहीं है फर्नीचर में बैठूं, मैं वहाँ पत्थर पे भी बैठ सकता हूँ. अरे पूल भी तो बनाया है, पूल में भी एक डिप ले लेता हूँ. Then I start using those spaces. Then those are not just mere visual elements. Those are spaces that I use because I'm spending my time there, which is the true luxury, time and space which I've actually spent money on, not just my bedroom.
Wonderful.
Right? So, as architects or designers, we can influence your behavior in a space as long as you're receptive to it. Right? Each and everything will have a purpose. Not giving a balcony, first purpose is not to get in noise and of course give privacy from the main road. But second main objective is
Getting the
for
family
you
together.
to come down and use that space. If I give you a balcony, you just sit in a chair and look at your lawn from there. That's not how it should be. You're young, you can come down. You can use that space. No, what is the problem? You can sit here, spend all day.
I
You
think
made
that's
this
a
space
great
also.
thought.
Yeah.
You know, as a professional also to think this. Moving on to my next question. Aman, there's a lot of Airbnb culture and weekend homes culture coming in. I mean, if you would see, people have started every Friday night, they want to go somewhere, have a 2-day night out and then come back and then start working again for the weeks. But for Airbnb culture, people make these houses and they lease it for say 1 or 2 days. There are apps which are there. Is it helping you as a professional to, design for not only one person, designing for more people at the same time?
No, I'm sorry. Why will it help me as a designer?
No, but usually you design a home only for one person. I mean, let's say this weekend house. But when you go to cities like Dehradun or you go to cities like Goa, people have their second homes and they are giving it to Airbnb. so that they can also, economically make something out of it. So you're not only building for one person then, in that case, you're building for people. There can be 6 people, a group of people coming together and staying there. So what is your thought on that? Would you design now for the family, or would you design for the purpose of people coming in?
हाँ मतलब प्रॉब्लम क्या है यार उसमें मतलब
Well, will
कर
it be
तो
the
इंसान
will
के
it
लिए
be
रहे हो ना।
but will it be the same design? Won't you?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, I mean, eventually
Functionality.
someone will come and use it, right?
Your functionality
So
is
they
the
also
point.
have to feel good. No, it depends. No, what you treat as functionality, right? Maybe having the best light and the best natural ventilation and the best views for me is functionality. So of course, if I'm going to Kasoli, I want the views of the hills. No, what am I going there for? If I just want to stay in a bedroom which has no windows, I might as well stay in my Sona Road home or whatever, right? What is the point? Why am I going to Kasoli? Because I want to look at the hills. That's functionality for me, right? I, if I'm going to Kasoli, do I want to see the same material which is being used in Gurgaon also? No. Maybe I want something which is again contextual to Kasoli.
Agree.
I want those views. I want fresh air because I can't get it in this city anymore. Now that serves purpose for you. That serves purpose for me. That serves purpose for any human being. Yeah. So how is it any different?
Agree. Okay.
Right? Yes. If I'm paying for it, there's a different aspect which is hospitality, which is then taken care of by another individual, which is the managing person of that
Person.
property. So yeah, let's not really hold architects accountable for everything, as I said.
All right, Aman, with this, we'll wind up this session. Thank you so much. It was great having you.